Well, the Bible tells us whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, you should do all for the glory of God. Over the last year, there's been quite a lot of discussion about vaccinations. Particularly, the vaccination in question has been the COVID-19 vaccination. Questions are being asked, will it be safe? Is this somehow a government conspiracy to get more control or to remove our freedoms and so on and so forth? And as I thought through this, I thought, well, maybe I should just take a few moments and share my own thoughts about this vaccine question. For me, my thoughts about vaccination, particularly even this vaccination, started back in 2017. It was at that time that I was planning a mission trip to Africa, and so I went to my family physician. He pulled up the CDC webpage on travel to Liberia. He checked out what risks were involved and what medications were recommended, and it was seen there that a yellow fever vaccine was recommended. That wasn't something that he did there at the doctor's office, and so he sent me to the travel clinic. When I got to the travel clinic, they said, yes, the yellow fever vaccine is recommended, but in addition to that, so is the typhoid fever vaccine. Now, not only that, but the government of Liberia requires the yellow fever vaccine. So when you get off the plane, you have to show proof that you've actually received that vaccination. You have to carry your vaccination card with you. Well, I wanted to go on this trip for the sake of the gospel, and so I paid my money and I received both of my shots. Now, for me then, as I think about the COVID-19 vaccine, it's pretty much the same thing. At this point, it's highly recommended by my own government. It's not required by a foreign government, it's simply recommended by my government. Being vaccinated means that I should be safer for others to be around. It also means that if I get this virus, the recovery time shouldn't be as time-consuming as it otherwise would be, thus allowing me to return sooner to shepherding God's people. And so, I received my first COVID-19 vaccination for the glory of God and the good of Christ's church. And that motivation is really the same motivation that I try to use for other decisions in my life. The glory of God and the good of Christ's church. Now, as you decide whether or not you're going to get this vaccination, you may actually make a decision that's different from mine. Nonetheless, I do encourage you also to be motivated by God's glory and the good of God's people.